Okay, so um, continuing from where I left off earlier, I've got this started here. We've got some weird things here on the nose and some spots here on the face. Now, I'll double click here and go to the texture file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal All, and I will do this for both layers. And what this does is black and white. Black will hide things on that particular layer, where white will reveal it. So you see how that works there. So I'm going to start to hide and show on both layers what I would like to be shown and what not to. So especially in these areas that just kind of randomly spotted up on the opposite side of the face, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of those. And then somewhere in here, I need to zoom in. Right about here. I'm going to go up to that point for the moment, and I'm going to go to my other layer and do Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal All. And I'm going to get rid of this eyeball here. Go back to this one. Go with white. Whoop. Make sure you're on the actual layer here. And I'm going to start to reveal this. And I get to about the midpoint of the nose before it starts to be weird. And now I'm going to get rid of this over here. Go to this layer. And just see. Okay. So now I will go back into here, and that should start to clean some of that stuff up. Let's see. So you'll see right here where it's gray, that's because there is no texture there. It's just the opaque image, the gray and white checkerboard. And now I'll go back in here, and I'm going to clean up the forehead a bit. And you notice the discoloration. And I will begin to clean that section up as needed, and to sort of have it blend into one another. And I'm going to give it myself a very large soft brush to sort of have it fade into one another nicely. Something like that. And let's go ahead and see what it looks like in Photoshop on the mesh. And it's looking a lot better. Alright, so that covers the first part of the face. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Take a look at this mouth section. Now, although it looks correct here on the mesh, it's really not, because the mouth on the mesh stops at this point where I have my mouse pointer. Even though it looks right, continuing further off, it's going to look weird when it starts to animate. So later on, we need to make sure that we get that all cleaned out. And how we do that is we can warp the image, we can do a new projection on it. There's a number of things. But as I'm looking at this here, I need to adjust this lip section here, and I just need to go ahead and adjust my brush size and go back into here and start to clean that up, and then go to the other one, something like that. And I got this weird shadow right here underneath the nose, so that'll be fixed, but for now I'm going to leave it, and that will be fixed with the front projection image that I'm going to use. Now in here, there we go. So that should do that for now. Now let's take a look at it on the mesh. And you'll see that got cleaned up a bit. And let's see what else needs to be adjusted. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to keep what I've got so far, and I'm going to open up a front image reference. And go back here, and I'm going to create a new layer. And let's see if it updates. It does. You'll see the spinning rotation wheel. Okay, let's go ahead and bring the opacity down so we can start to line it up with the face. And I'm going to need to rotate this. And zoom in, and zoom in. And slightly rotate. And scale down. And slightly rotate. And actually at this point I'm going to begin to warp the image so it lines up a little bit better on around the eye area. The mouth is lined up pretty well here. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Warp. And I'm going to start to try and get this a little bit closer to the reference. Or to the mesh, excuse me. So something like that. And try to line up the mouth a little bit better. Okay. And see if we get the nose a little bit cleaner. And let's try that. And I'm going to turn up the opacity to 100, and we get this really weird stretched image, but let's see how it looks when I merge it down. And I don't plan on using this entire front reference image here. I'm going to obviously create a layer mask and get rid of whatever is needed and not needed, and sort of blend them all together from that point. But let's just take a look here at how it turned out. So I got a lot of texture stretching here, and clearly needs a lot of work on it. Reveal all. And let's go ahead and begin to erase what is not needed here. So I really only sort of need the front part around like the nose area. This is all far too stretched, so don't want any of that. Something like so. Don't need this here. There's too much stretch going on. The color needs to match up as well, because it just looks weird otherwise. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like now. Let's go ahead and rotate around, and let's adjust the light. Take a look over here. And it looks like it's starting to blend together pretty well at the moment. The real test is to see what it looks like in the viewport. But it's starting to come together. So basically you just keep repeating this process. You can do specific parts like the ear separate, obviously. But this is the whole rundown of how you get it started. And when it's all said and done, you just save out your texture image and apply it in Maya. So for now, that's all I got, and hope this was helpful, and enjoy.